It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. I don't give a fuck, I just hit the tree on the 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5 shit, get up and leave. It's the Green Rush Nation podcast. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy B-GUNZ here on the Green Rush Nation podcast. I just want to give a special shout out to our boys over here, Miche's Express. They came out today. They catered the ceviche and some micheladas, and hey, we're having a good time. Also, we have a legend here. You know, he's been in the podcast game for a long time. You might know him from Be Real TV. It's our boy Ezone from Be Real TV. How you doing, brother?
What's up, man? Thank you so much for having me over here, man. I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you. Shout out to Miche's, always getting down, bro. They're, I've known them for a cool minute, so it was good to come up over here and get received with some good bomb ceviche. You know what I'm saying? Been smoking some hash holes here with you guys, and thank you for having me on, and I appreciate the intro, too. Legend is appreciated.
Absolutely, man. I mean, hey, anybody that's doing it for as long as you have, you got to be a legend in the space.
Just consistency, man. You know, I mean, sometimes I want to say, like, been doing it for so long, is just amazing shit happens along the way, and sometimes you forget to smell the flowers, so you have to constantly remind yourself.
It's true. No, it's very true. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day, but, you know, you've come a long way from where you started, so you always got to remind yourself, like, hey, I do this shit, you know?
I looked all young and shit. When I look at pictures of when I was young, I was like, damn, fool.
Fuck.
Let me get back to that shape.
Right?
Yeah.
If only, man. High school weight, damn. I pray, but we'll see.
You take it for granted, right?
It's true, bro, because I was walking around then like, eat whatever the fuck I want, drink whatever the fuck I want.
Fucking
I play
pizza.
sports. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It didn't matter. Soda, like we were just talking about before. Literally, I played football and baseball. I didn't drink water. I drank soda.
Dog, I seen some fool get sent home because this fool we were at soccer practice, and this fool decided to bring a strawberry soda and just drink it in the middle of the break, dog.
Damn.
Yeah, and the coach looked at him. He was like, Are you drinking soda? And this fool just kicked him out, dog. He just fucking kicked this fool out. He was like, go home after laps, you know.
I love it. That's some real fat boy shit, though. If you got to sneak a soda in between practice, man, wait till after practice, bro.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. Is the audio good? Like, or do we hear ourselves? Or?
Yeah, we
okay,
sure.
cool.
We can turn up your mic a little bit.
All right, cool. I just wanted to make sure because I'm like, if it keeps cutting on and out, I'm like,
nah,
might as well let you know. All right,
it might just be your headphones if you are hearing that, but no, the audio
sounded
of course.
Yeah.
But here on the Green Rush Nation podcast, we don't want to just know about your ventures and everything that you've done. That's great. We want to know about you as well as a person. So do you remember, well, first of all, where are you from? And do you remember your first encounter with marijuana? Like the first time you got high?
The first time I got high, yeah, I do remember that. I was born and raised in South Central, so that's always going to be my home. Gentrified or not, it's still going to be South Central.
Absolutely.
Definitely a product of the 90s. Survivor of the 90s, you know, as people like to joke around. And yeah, that's where I'm from, man. I think in regards to background, my family's all Salvadorian, bro. So
dope.
They're all Salvadorian. We know there's really no mix in there, so they're just from different parts of El Salvador.
Beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of short people in my family. I was pretty blessed to be tall.
Okay, hey, that's always a blessing. Same here, bro.
Yeah,
I'm Irish.
Salvadorian and Guatemalans are pretty short, fool. Yeah, you know what I mean, just to let you know, bro. They're pretty short.
I'm from New York, so yeah, I went to school with a lot of them, and I was always the tallest.
Yeah. And to answer the second question, the first time I got high, bro, was in high school, and I actually didn't smoke, bro. The first time I got high was eating edibles. It was brownies.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. They used to be like, you remember when you're like in high school, you just know like let's just say like a girl who's into bad shit. Like you're just like, hey, bro, like you have an older sister. You learned this from her, huh?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so there was this girl named Jocelyn. And I remember this bitch fucking brought like a tray of like brownies that she took like from her older sister.
Mm-hmm.
Her older sister was into some other shit.
Damn.
And, you know, she was already older. And I was just like, oh, man, she brought a whole tray. And I just remember going to, I think it was Life Scales. And I was like, yo, let me get some. I was hungry, bro. And they're just like, nah, they're special brownies. And I was like, what's special about them, you know? And they were just like, you're going to get high. You ever got high? And I was like, nope. You know, so I just took the brownies, bro. And I remember grabbing one square, and I was like, damn, these shits are good. Yeah. I was like, they taste kind of weird, but they're good. So I grabbed another one, and I ate it, bro. And that was the first time I had to sit through life skills, learning about how to write checks. And learning how to do all this crazy, like just life skills teaches you like about like like the real life. So they're preparing you about I remember they were covering about like bank and financial shit. I just remember just being high, and I'm just like, fuck. I was like, are my eyes red? Are my eyes red? I was high through their history class, and I just remember hitting the donut shop, just like lit, bro. That was the first time I got introduced to it, bro. And when I tried it,
Interesting.
I wouldn't say that I didn't think I was too young for me to know actually know what was going down. I tried to fight it, and at that point, you got that young blood, bro. So you're just like, man, I could fight this, bro. Yeah. But shout out to my parents for never ever paying attention. The bills must have been killing them because they just never said anything. I was like, how the fuck do you just not know that I'm just getting high with my friends? Like, how do I did not smell the Swisher smell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking A. I'm sure they smelled it, bro. They had to.
I mean, shout out to, well, you're right, though. Latina moms do a great job, or Latino parents make a good job at learning to look the other way.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mom was the complete opposite. She told me that if I smoked weed, I was going to do heroin.
Where are your parents from? Are they like just like full white, or are they Italian, or
Irish? We're Irish. My grandma.
Yeah, you got like that's like a strict ass immigrant parent.
Yeah. Came over here from Ireland, but she was first generation American, so she grew up in the Bronx.
Did you be like, oh, you're smoking?
Nah. Now, funny story. She smokes now, but for the longest time, like, and I believed her too. She's like, you're gonna do heroin. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do heroin.
Fuck, dude.
So I stayed away from it. And then
fuck, you're gonna do heroin? That's like some scary white ass parent shit.
That's what I'm saying.
My parents would just hit me, bro, to teach the lesson, bro. They'd be like, let me just hit you so you know this is bad. Like,
my mom was a funny mom though. Like, she had a weird way of teaching lessons, but they fucking stuck with me, bro. And like, thankfully she kept me away from the bullshit.
She had that psychic warfare on you, huh?
No, she did, bro. Yeah. Thank God it's over. But when I was a kid, man, fuck, man.
I think like being like I mean, you had an immigrant parent, but your immigrant parent knew how to speak English, so you couldn't hide anything. Like, when there's a language barrier, it's kind of hard, bro, because, like, they know they're out of the loop, bro. Like, they know they're an older generation. You're learning new shit. They're asking you for help. So they can't fuck up the relationship too bad, you know?
Well, my mom's
like, they
first
teach you
generation.
differently. They know, like, fear and pain is a great teacher when you know.
My mom was born here, so she's American, technically, but our roots are Irish, So her mom, my grandma that she still lives with in the Bronx, still has an Irish brogue. But so she learned a lot from her, which was not too much. No offense to them out there in Ireland, but I don't know how good the education system was back in the day. I love my grandma, but man,
she's like
not the brightest. Me? I mean, I'll drink it. It's not my favorite.
Okay, I'm a big stout person.
It's too heavy for me, bro. I like IPAs. But that shit, the stout, I don't know. It sits in my stomach weird.
I got into the beer game for a while, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I remember, shout out to my people at Craft Beer Kings. Mo is a legend in the fucking craft beer game. Probably one of the pioneers out there to bring in craft beer game to be a delivery. Like, you can order off Craft Beer Kings, get it delivered all 50 states.
Okay.
But he introduced me to a lot of people, and I was able to do 3 beers.
You made beers?
Yeah, like they had one of them was a stout. It was Abuelita chocolate themed, and it was like me with the glasses, and it was me on the can. It was great. That was a limited release.
Dope.
I had a Fresas con Crema, which is a strawberry cream beer. And then I produced 3 beers for Be Real. So they were, while in the production, like, to make it happen, I remember we went to Atlanta to do to Sweetwater Brewery.
I love Sweetwater Brewery.
Yeah, Sweetwater Brewery. They're very
brewery.
good. They produced the Insane OG beer for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember we were there doing R&D at the brewery. It was the best thing ever, bro. To see beers come out of the line and just to, like, go ahead.
Fresh.
It tastes different. It tastes 100% different when it's off the line. I don't know what to tell you. It tastes way more sweet, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It hasn't settled yet, and it just tastes very delicious. But I did the one with Sweetwater. Then they did a strawberry chocolate stout with Craft
Speaking
Beer
of
Kings.
Sweetwater, real quick, did you get to try their 420?
I tried all of them.
The Sweetwater 420?
Yeah, I've tried every.
Fucking
Yeah,
delicious.
the whole collection they have.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I was down there.
It sucks they don't sell it out here.
I know, it's fucked. They sell them in New York, though, which is cool. But I was down there on vacation randomly, and we didn't discover it till the last day we were there. So we're out there, and we go down to the hotel bar, and I was like, you guys got any, like, good local beer? Like, what do you got? He's like, oh, try this Sweetwater 420. I'm like, oh, I'm sold already by the fucking name, you know?
Yeah.
And I tried that shit, and it was fucking delicious. And my boy loved it, too. So I was like, damn. He's like, yeah, the brewery's down the block, right? I was like, we're literally
It's a
leaving
massive
in the morning.
brewery.
I know. I seen it. After we were pulling out, I'm like, damn, we fucked up. But next time I'm out there, bro, shout out to them. I'm definitely going to go check it out. But yeah, keep going. You had a couple more flavors you were talking about?
Yeah, no, just getting involved in the beer game. I don't know. I'm one of these people that I'll try like everything, bro. Like if it makes, if I'm seeing, I was like, if it makes sense to me, I'm gonna venture in and see what's up, bro. And whether you learn a lesson or you come out with a profit, that's a completely different story. But it never hurts to try.
It's true.
Well, one thing I learned about the beer game is the profit margins are very, very, very small.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, so don't think you're gonna just make a beer and hit a quick lick. Unless
lot
you're
of work
working with
goes
like
into
Budweiser or some shit like that, bro, where they have like the distribution. But craft beer is like more for like a labor of love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why you want to go to like the local places, see what they got going on over there. Shit you can't find at your hometown.
Yeah.
But man, I love breweries. That's one of my things. I haven't been to many out here, but that was
There's
my
a big
thing, bro.
brewery scene out here.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a big brewery scene.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check them out for sure. Do you venture out? I know you do food reviews, food podcasting.
Yeah, I have a food vlog / show with my boy Ray. I've known him since middle school. He works at Be Real TV. He's a producer / videographer that does my show. He does Dr. Greenthumb show. He produces Felipe Esparza show.
Okay.
The comedian Felipe Esparza, the What's Up Food podcast.
Yep.
He works a lot with a lot of people, and me and him, we started this project about maybe like 7 years ago or 6 years ago. We just needed new content at Be Real TV. It's probably about 8 years ago, now that I think about it. And we're like, hey, let's film a pilot, because we used to get high when we were younger, and we used to watch Diners and Guy Fieri, Diners, Dashes, or whatever it is.
Diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that show.
Hell
We used to watch Anthony Bourdain, or we used to send each other all this different food stuff. And I'm like, hey, man, wouldn't it be cool to get some, if you made a show and then we started getting food for free? Because you're broke at the time,
Of
so you're
course.
just like, man, you're not thinking of the bigger picture.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, it would be cool, man. We get to try all these different restaurants. So we came up with the idea, and the first episode we ever did was at the LA County Fair.
Okay.
Yeah, we just went over there and tried a whole bunch of different things, and we've been doing it for that long. I made it into a brand. Highandhungry.shop is my website, where I make a lot of cool merch, like different stuff, like my shirts, different hats, a variety
Show
of
him
different.
that shirt a little bit more. That is a dope ass shirt.
The shirt says "Welp, I was wrong," and it's the Dare Lion
I love it.
smoking a joint.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so I this is different ideas. Shout out to my artist Chili Millie and the other people that I work with. Yeah, bro. So I made it into a brand, and we still do food blogs. We're actually going to film this weekend at this barbecue festival, and it's the first episode we filmed for this year. So
Fire. That sounds like a good ass time. I heard you said there's gonna be a lot of good food in the building over there.
yeah, man, barbecue is a very serious game, bro. I didn't know, bro. There's a lot of people that take that shit serious, bro.
Facts.
Serious.
No, they do.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it right, it's not good. So
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a cult following, man. But I want to say I've done the foodie thing for like a good amount of years, and I look at when I started, and I'm like, damn, man, me going blindly into it and not knowing the tricks and gimmicks to kind of do it in a healthy way. I'm like, damn, fool, you got really big,
Yeah.
like I went through and I seen the years, and I'm like, damn, this is the production. I'm like, this production is bad for my health, but it's just the way I ended. You have to learn trials and tribulations to really know how to get down with it, man. So
yeah.
don't just think that a lot of these, like when people that make mukbang videos where they get into the food content game, you gotta be mindful about your health, man. Like, yeah, just because a person's eating, or showing like a stack of ribs and all this stuff, didn't mean they ate all 15 ribs, bro. That's like,
what's
can't be
crazy?
conducive to your health.
I don't know if you've seen those videos where these motherfuckers, like, obviously now you're saying they don't eat the whole thing, but they pretend like they'll take the video of every bite,
Yeah.
every single bite, and then they'll eat everything. And I'm like, this has got to be edited and fake. They probably like take the bite, spit it out, take the bite, spit it out. Like
I'll believe one of those like content shows, like a live foodie show, if it's live, bro. If it's like food versus like man versus food,
yeah,
or something like that, I'll believe it if it's live, bro. Because you can't fool people when it's live, bro. If the dude has a heart attack and he falls on top of the pizza, that's
real.
Lets you know, hey man, don't do this shit.
Yeah, facts.
Like straight up, bro. But yeah, people are very gullible, man, and they think getting into like a content space, they don't consider their health. I say that now because I've become like very health conscious like in the last 6 months.
Okay.
Just I'm like, I'm 35 now. I got to make a different shift, so I felt like I got all my shit. And I just noticed that a lot of the problems that I was having just kind of went away with just healthy eating. And
It's true.
the biggest fear that I had was I was like, am I still going to be able to be the stoner that I'm able to be, like smoking 24/7 and doing all this stuff? Yeah, you get eat that, no problem at all.
Yeah, no, true.
It's no problem. You get yourself a Celsius or two, on your way to the gym, and you'll be straight. You'll have that energy, no problem.
Yeah, it's mind over matter.
Yeah, mind over matter, dog.
Yep.
100%.
Speaking of the content, how did you get into the content space?
I didn't want to be a content creator or get into the content space like in the beginning at all, bro. I went to college at Cal State Northridge. Shout out to Matadors. I think it's class of 2014 or 2013, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, pretty high right now.
Okay.
But I graduated in 4.5 years. I wanted originally to get a marketing degree.
Okay.
But I couldn't pass calculus, dog.
Damn. Why
That's
the
a
fuck?
requirement.
Why is that a requirement though?
That's the same thing I was saying, bro. I went to go talk to my college counselor about it. I'm like, hey, fool, this is fucked up, bro. Like, I was like, I'm killing it. All the other classes, you can't pull some strings. They're like, this isn't a bribery thing. And I'm just like, I just don't want to. I was like, look, I'm paying for tutoring. This is costing me money.
What did they tell you though? What was the benefit?
They just gave me resources to go get more tutoring and stuff like that.
What was the benefit of you taking calculus?
It's a required.
It's just a requirement. There's no benefit. You've never used calculus.
It's a requirement. They were just like, hey, I'm like, what the fuck does this have to do with marketing? But nonetheless, I ended up having to change my major because I wanted to graduate and not keep wasting money.
Of course.
So I changed it to communications, and I ended up getting a BA in communications. Didn't know what I was going to do. I was working Lyft after college.
Okay.
And I was going to get a job at Enterprise because you get qualified. If you're out there, you don't know what the fuck to do and you want to get in sales or something, apply at Enterprise or a car rental place. You can get a job starting off at $100,000 a year if you got the right degree and you get all that stuff. Like seriously, like Enterprise, I was going to take a job like that, a solid ass job.
Wow. At
the same time, I got offered a internship at B-Real TV.
Okay.
Because I was like, man, I want to apply for cool jobs and then legit jobs. Yeah. And I hit them back up. It was very demanding in regards to time, and I'm like, man, I can't balance both.
Yeah.
So I made the decision to just take the internship at B-Real TV, not knowing that I didn't want to go be a host. I didn't want to be that. I was just like, let me just help with the production. And for the first 4 months, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying. I was trying out everything. The first one was just kind of helping production. I was watching over, the like
audio guy,
broadcaster, the audio guy. I was doing ad libs, the buttons and all this stuff. So I was kind of getting my feet wet with that, and I was also doing some writing for the website because we used to write articles on there at the time.
Okay.
So I was just doing that and kind of helping out running errands at the time. And I was working there for 4 months doing a whole bunch of different shit. Kept working there, and around month number 8, I think B-Real has to go on tour or something like that. And he finally looked at my resume at his table. And he was like, "Oh shit, you got a communications degree." He's like, "You want to give it a shot?" He's like, "I have to go on tour." He's like, "I know." He's like, "You seem like you can kind of handle it." He's like, "Why don't you go sit up there?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit,
dope."
So I ended up taking that opportunity, and I ain't never been off the roster.
How was that experience going on tour with B-Real?
I didn't go on tour. He went on tour.
Okay.
I took over because he does a Dr. Greenthumb show. A lot of people don't know that B-Real was one of the first people in the cannabis space to be doing some content online. B-Real TV has been on the space for like going on almost 20 years.
Okay. Shout out to B-Real.
B-Real TV has been doing it for a long time, and it's for like a lot of years there was no competition in that space, man.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. Cannabis, it still feels brand new. There's a couple people that do it, but I don't know many people.
Yeah, it's especially being at it for that long because people just fall off. But he's always had B-Real TV, and the experience was great, man. I learned a lot, bro. There's a lot of trials and tribulations with doing being in front of the camera, but I've always had it in me to like never be afraid to like talk to people. And then while I was in college, I was going to college and taking classes, and I was also working as a car salesman.
Okay.
In Canoga Park over here on Sherman Way in DeSoto at this place called Auto Excel that's no longer there.
So you were a hustler, bro.
Yeah, I was out there. I hadn't paid bills, bro. I was like, I come from like a lower middle class family.
Yeah.
So I was like, I had to help out whenever I can, especially once my parents got divorced. I was like, fuck, bro, this is, why'd you do this?
Yeah.
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 So it just became one of those things where I learned, I was like, yo, this is how you get around and how shit works in the world. And I was selling cars, so I was comfortable with talking with people all the time. So I just went to go do it, and it's been a great ride since.
Absolutely. What's your favorite part about doing this?
My favorite part about doing it, bro, like this maybe like the most satisfying is being able to interview and get to meet a lot of the people that I grew up looking up to when I was a kid, like when I was 15, 16.
Yeah.
People that my cousins grew up liking, my family grew up liking, or people that I knew because of my family or they were fans of them. And I think it's very satisfying to get to know these people on a personal level.
Yeah.
Interact with them, become friends with some of them. Because being a kid from the hood in South Central, you're like, man, not many people get to leave this space or get to do these things, and having to go back to the hood for so long and just look at it, and then you're like, damn, bro, like you got to sit next to Ice Cube today.
Yeah.
And you got to go back to the hood, and you're just like, this doesn't make sense. Like, it feels like you're living in a dream, bro.
Yeah.
And
life humbles you, bro. You realize like some of the craziest shit you do, and you still got to sit back and look back and be like, damn, I still got to look back at real life for a second, you know?
No doubt, man. That's probably one of my favorite things, bro. Getting to meet a lot of the people I look up to or looked up to as a kid.
Yeah.
Getting to know them on a personal level and working with some of them. And the second best thing about it is the opportunities that has presented itself and that I've earned to be able to fend for myself and have my own productions, you know, because over time of me doing the Be Real, the Dr. Greenthumb show, there used to be another show on there, and then that fell out, and that was an open slot, and I'm like, hey, man, I want to take over the slot. You know, Be Real gave me the slot. We Don't Smoke the Same podcast came about. High and Hungry was already in production. I'm like, hey, let me have this slot.
Okay.
You know, so just that, bro, and being able to turn those things into something that has flourished, and there's still so much room to go, but when you look at it from those eyes, when you're like, there's so much room to go, there's so much room to go for everybody. But one thing I think we fail to realize as entrepreneurs and as creators is you don't need a lot of people. I mean, you know, blessed to those people that have all those followers, that have all the millions and have reached those pinnacles, right?
Yeah.
And those levels. That's great, man. Congratulations to those people. But the people that haven't reached that, and you always strive to reach that, you always want to be better. You have to realize that you don't need those big numbers for you to feel or to be successful, man. You can really be able to pay the bills off of having just 25 solid fans if you focus on them, man.
Yeah.
So a lot of people choose to focus on what they don't have, and they don't play with the cards of what they actually do have and see how far you... Imagine if all those people, they just showed up to an event, bro. Imagine... You know, you get 500 people to pull up, you know, out of 1,000 people that fuck with you, you know? Yeah. So it's like, I feel like sometimes people are always overanalyzing the situation, and they're looking at the situation that they don't have at their hands. And yeah, we can all reach it, man, but it's like, focus on what you have and learn to curate. Make sure all the flowers in your garden blossom, you know? Yeah. Because one thing I've learned, when you focus on other people, you don't know why everybody else is having their moment in the sun, bro, because their moment in the sun might be short-lived, or their moment on earth might be short-lived. Everybody's destiny is different, bro, and you can't be questioning shit like that sometimes. Sometimes we get obsessed with shit like that because you focus on what you don't have.
Yeah.
You know, and you just gotta be like, hey, man, like, fuck, look at how cool the shit that I do have, man. But I think it's human nature for just to, you know.
The grass is always greener, bro.
Yeah, the grass is always greener, but it's just like, fool, water your shit, you know?
Like 100%.
Yeah, like.
But that's what it is. It's not always greener. It's greener where you water it. So,
yeah.
Yeah, if you do fucking got your
the
shit.
next man's grass is because he's focused on the grass he has right there. He's not looking at yours. He's like, look at his fool. He's all yellow. He's like, his shit's green because he's focused on his stuff, bro.
That's it. Yeah. And if you're focusing on the views, you're already losing, bro. You gotta really love this shit because
you can stay afloat, bro, with the same 500 people tuning in every time, bro.
That's it, bro.
Like, you can literally stay afloat with that and keep going at it. You got to just cater to those people, man. A lot of people don't want to do that work.
Yeah. No, it's true. And this shit ain't easy, but that's why you have to love it. It's like anything else. If you're going to do music, bro, and you don't love that shit, good luck, brother.
Yeah.
You know?
You want to do music, but you hate memorizing lyrics? Not for you, dog.
Yeah, good luck. There's more than just loving music, you know?
Yeah.
So this is really a craft. And like we were talking about earlier, like shit, sometimes we do 3-4 of these a day. It's not easy to sit here and keep up an hour-long conversation with someone you may not know anything about, you know? But it's definitely cool to, like you said, hear people's stories. I think that's the best, you know, sit down and just, what do you got, you know?
Yeah, man. Like you have to have an open mind, bro. Especially in something something as new as a space as like cannabis is, bro.
Yeah. No, it's true. And to me, it's brand new. In New York, bro, we didn't have choice of what we wanted to smoke. There was no brands. You went to the drug dealer and you got what you were given, you know, and that was it.
You're getting catered over here, bro. Shout out Trap Box.
Hey, fucking hey, look who just showed up.
Yeah, bro.
You got Trap Box in the building.
Smells delicious.
Today's sponsor for the episode. But this is the cool shit too, you know, like what other job do you have that people just show up and now you got fire ass weed, you got some fire food. This ain't a regular job, bro. Fuck 9 to 5.
Nah,
you know?
it's not. It's not, bro. But a lot of people, also too, man. People have to understand that there's a lot of production that goes into this, man. Like being involved in it so long, man. Like the moment and the moment in the sun is not gonna last forever, bro. So when you gotta get it when the getting is good, bro.
That's it.
And it's like when you're an entrepreneur, bro, you have to save for a rainy day. And a lot of people think that because you're always involved in this space that you don't have to have real life situations. Like, brother, we all get old. If you gotta start thinking about your future. If you don't have a savings account, you don't put all this shit away. There's a lot of motherfuckers that'll blow through a good moment where it's just like, man, bro, you were capitalizing so crazy, and what'd you do with that?
It's true. They're not ready.
Yeah, they're not ready, or they waste a good opportunity like that, man. That being an entrepreneur is very hard, man. Like you're working, you have to have discipline, bro. You have to put money to pay away for taxes. The IRS isn't gonna let you get away, bro. Trust, I've tried.
Of course,
like, I was like, it's not, bro. You have to pay them back every penny.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that's one thing they don't fuck around with, and yeah, man. I mean, you got to take it serious because a lot of people talking here. Oh, I want a podcast. I want to do this. Do you really? You sure you know what goes into this shit? You don't. Want
let's just say you become relatively successful in the podcast world, and then you're raking in a lot of money, and you're like, wow, I'm a famous YouTuber, but you don't hire an accountant. You're hire a CPA dude. And then you're just like, bro, you're not keeping track of all this stuff. You're mixing your finances.
Yeah. A
lot of people get themselves in a sticky situation, and it's just like, yo, there's logistics to this shit, bro. You have to treat it as a business, bro. You never register your LLC. Somebody comes and just steals your whole brand.
It's crazy, bro. That's why trademarking's super important.
Yeah, get yourself a lawyer, man. Shout out to my lawyer, Tommy Two Sticks.
Shout out to the lawyer. Always gotta have a good lawyer. And did you think that like you would be in the cannabis space or with podcasting at least?
Not with podcasting at all, bro. I always thought I was like, man. If I'll be honest, I'm like, man, it would just get a manager job at a dispensary, bro. I was like, I think you could do that.
I thought I'd be like a delivery driver.
I always applied for those jobs. I never got called back. I was just like, man,
they're hard to get, bro.
Yeah,
I don't
bro.
understand. I was out here fucking applying for bud tender jobs, delivery drivers.
That's
like
what
anything.
I applied for, and then I was like, I tried to just move on up, and I'm just like, man, fuck this, bro. I was just like, let me just let me see where the money's at, bro.
Yeah, nah. And then thankfully I met these guys, and shit, it was like, fuck a bud tender job, fuck all that shit. This is much better than that. But where do you see yourself and the podcast like 5-10 years down the line?
Hopefully in like a bigger space, man. You know, it's like any business, you know, to maybe taking that on the road. We do live shows.
Okay.
So we do, you know, I've dabbled in comedy as well, bro. Like we produce comedy shows. I could do comedy, no problem.
Sick.
You know,
how do you like the live shows?
I love it, bro. I love interacting with the people that watch the shows, man. Every single one of you guys that are out there, even the very, very unique characters that come up to the booth sometimes. You guys are very special sometimes. You know, I'll tell you that much. But I give you guys the time of day, you know, as much as I can, bro, because I understand that every single one of you guys matter.
Absolutely.
Whenever you buy a hat, whenever you buy a shirt, you guys are helping me keep my vision alive and being able to quote unquote entertain or produce content for you guys to consume.
Yeah.
And that to me is like a special relationship, you know?
Where have you done some of the live events?
Some of these people, they open up to you, bro, and you find out so much about them, bro.
Of course.
Yeah.
These people, this is the thing I'm starting to learn. Like, even though like you don't know who they are, they know you, bro. You know, like in their heart, they know you.
Some of these people will fucking be 11:59 right before on your birthday. Hey, what's up? I just want to be the first one to be. I'm like, bro, like my girlfriend's not. She's like, who the fuck is this? You know, like at a certain time, man. But yeah, they know, man, and I hopefully see myself doing a lot more live shows because our shows are kind of like I don't want to say the stoner version of Kill Tony, but it kind of like a Kill Tony vibe where it's like live like that.
Okay.
But anything could kind of happen, bro.
Gotcha. It's
We'll
unpredictable.
We'll have somebody with like, who has a crazy, outrageous story like that? We'll pull people from the crowd. We're like, somebody will go up there and be like, so my uncle got his side chick pregnant right before he got married, and then we'll fucking hear the gossip, or we'll hear like, we'll hear a crazy story. People will come up there and they'll maybe they got some talent, maybe they got, they could, whatever it is, bro. We fuck with them.
Yeah. Where's been some places that you took the live show?
Mostly in California, bro. Mostly like just all over Southern Cali, but we plan to take it to Vegas soon.
Okay.
So that hopefully have a Vegas show.
And what is it usually, just like restaurant, lounge?
We do live podcasts. Hopefully it's a venue that has food, and if they don't have food, we, because of High and Hungry, I'm able to just pull strings with different food vendors. Like, shout out to, Bart's Barbecue. That's one of my homies.
Okay.
He just recently got a food truck, but he's been in the barbecue game for a cool minute.
Is he gonna be out there this weekend?
His smoker he has a 1,000-pound smoker.
Okay, shit.
You can fit. I mean, bro, this shit looks like a missile, bro.
God damn.
But somebody rented it out, so it's cool because you'll see it out there, and it has logos painted on there. And one of the logos is High and Hungry, so I'm just like, yeah,
there you go. That's fire. Hell yeah.
I like free promo, dog.
Shit, man. What advice do you have someone that's just getting into this space?
Look into the logistics of shit, man. Like, if you really want to do this shit, get your shit right, bro. Cause don't go based on an agreement just based off word of mouth is not, it's cool when you're homies and when you're starting off, bro, but you don't want to get used to shit like that, bro.
Of course.
Especially getting into something that's relatively new in this space, bro. Try to be about it like the most legit way about it, bro. Like get this shit in paper, bro. Get an LLC, do your research, if it's your brand, bro, be protective about it, or protect it. You want the best for it. You don't want to be, do some research on people you're working with, bro.
Yeah, no, absolutely. How important as like an interviewer do you think it is to research the person that is coming on?
I think it's very important, bro. I think it was, especially, it's kind of hard when the person is not as known, because in this space there's been many people that have come by my podcast that I don't want to say like, oh, I broken them or something like that, but I remember being the first one to have an interview with some of these people.
Yeah.
And you're just like, damn, bro, like these people got up to be like superstars, you know?
Yeah.
And you see that stuff, and it's hard to do research on some of those people, but if the research is available, then you can get an idea. And even if they're not on Wikipedia, bro, that's not an excuse, bro. If you're running a podcast, go on their Instagram.
Yeah, find them. They're
like
somewhere.
If you're looking back at whatever chick you're trying to get at, looking back years and liking her pictures and shit, bro, you could look back at your guest and be like, let me see what this fool's up. Oh, you went here, you went that, because that's what makes for a good interview, bro.
It's true.
You also got know how to carry a conversation, bro. Maybe be professional about things, bro. You can't get personal about this thing, bro. Like especially if you're coming from a situation where you haven't been placed in the environment of being around professionals all the time, bro.
Yeah.
That's one of the things where I'm like, man, I had to learn that the hard way.
No, it's true. Not everybody takes it as serious as you do,
It wasn't always like that, bro, but there's been a lot of lessons, because you come to points where you're like, man, I'm about to fucking not be doing this at all anymore. It doesn't feel like it's worth it anymore, and then you have to rearrange the house.
Yeah. It's true. So speaking of your podcast, you said you do it live, like on a live stream platform?
Yeah, We Don't Smoke This. Both podcasts that I'm on, which is the Dr. Greenthumb Show, which is Monday through Friday. That's 2 to 4 on BeReal.tv or YouTube.com/BeRealTV.
It's every day?
Yeah, he does it every day.
That's dope.
You have a different cast of characters on that. I'm on Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay.
So those are the days that I'm on that show. But you have everybody on that show as a co-host. You have Steph Tone from the Deftones, Psycho Les from the Beatnuts, Sun Doobie. Those are co-hosts. This is like a table full of all these like legendary musicians, and I'm just sitting there. I was just like, man, I ain't done nothing nearly as legendary as you fuckers, and I'm just sitting with these fools all the time, getting to hang out with them, plus the guests, whoever it is. So that's a pretty legendary podcast. I feel like if you don't watch it, man, and you're a fan of the hip hop space or the cannabis space, it's crazy, bro. Like it's a certain vibe that Be Real has curated. We Don't Smoke the same podcast as my podcast. I do that one with my homie XG.
Okay.
He's in the podcast space as well. Ray, who is my producer, aka Morning Shot Films, and I've recently added my Indian homie from Canada. He's a comedian, Nitty or Natish. Yeah.
Okay. Dope. Hell yeah. And what platforms you go live on?
We like to argue about. I was like, yo, roti is not the same shit as tortillas, bro. I'm gonna punch you if you keep saying that. Yeah, I was like, it's not the same shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like my podcast is live. It's Wednesdays, morning from 9:30 to 11:30,
Okay.
and Thursdays from 7 to 9.
Okay.
We have and Rock Sampson. We have a live DJ who does the closeout,
Okay.
and everything's live. So we go on at 7 or whatever time we go on, and we start off with a beat closeout. So for 10, 15 minutes, he does live beats, and he does this whole set off of this MPC.
Okay.
And it's crazy. And then we tune in. I introduce my co-host. We have a guest, and we just shoot the shit. I feel like it's very stoner vibes plus a little bit of a splash of Howard Stern-esque.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because we do take it there.
Yeah.
We never do.
Push the limit.
Well, we don't cross the line. We don't have we don't have like no jumper moments, you know, where like people start hating each other.
Of course.
It's more like like we're just like, well, since you took it there, let's open the door.
Yeah.
yeah, like that kind of shit.
Nah, it's true. And where do you guys stream on? Like what services?
YouTube.
Just only YouTube?
YouTube.com/We Don't Smoke the Same podcast. We have a Patreon for all the uncensored stuff and
Okay.
the people who want to get on the secret menu, who want to get some of find out how to get some of the sponsors goodies and all that stuff.
Okay.
Patreon, you get to see a lot of uncensored behind the scenes stuff that we get flagged for.
Dope. Okay.
So,
Are you guys on Twitch or anything?
No, we
at all?
don't do Twitch. We just keep it strictly on YouTube and Patreon, man.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. How does that work?
How do you,
on
I
YouTube?
want to ask you, like, do you feel that we limited ourselves with that? Because I feel like with the cannabis space, it's still tricky.
Nah, bro. Twitch is it. Twitch, you can be you. You know? Yeah.
Just multiple stream it. Just like stream it on multiple places, like just.
So yeah, you can do it also. Like it's easy to go. Just if you stream it from YouTube, you can just make a Twitch and stream it from YouTube and Twitch at the same exact time from the same device. So it's definitely
We used
doable.
to do Twitch, man. I just don't know why we didn't consistently do it. Maybe because we didn't dedicate ourselves to it 100% as much as YouTube. But I don't know. We might bring it back. You know?
I would say Twitch is the future, bro. Like Twitch, just the young generation is definitely pushing it. It's either Twitch or Kick, and I feel like Kick is just more strict. You could smoke, you could drink, you could do whatever on Twitch. You know, you could have a good time.
We might bring that back. I know we have an account, but we might just bring that back. Just
fucking A. Hey, I don't think it'd be a bad thing.
yeah, it wouldn't. Only good things.
You're
can
already
come out of it.
live, you know, so
Yeah.
you just gotta click a button, and now you're live in another
Some of
thing.
these fools go to school still, right? No.
Definitely. Shit, man. It's also cool. I haven't really interviewed another podcaster. I interview a lot of artists and people in the space, but never another podcaster.
You know, that's the one thing that I don't get that, bro. Like, and thank you so much for having me on here,
Of
man.
course.
Because I'm just, I don't get why some of us as hosts we don't get interviewed at different places or we don't get put in the same position where it's just like, hey, bro, we're a fucking commodity too, bro.
Straight up.
You know, I'm like, yeah, you could have the star, you could have like the artist and all this stuff. You know, I was like, that's a different kind of interview, bro. But the stories. You know, it's like having somebody like Howard Stern, bro, or having like Big Boy. Like,
Yeah.
this is the equivalent of that, bro.
Literally.
Just on a different space, bro. Like, when people hit a Big Boy, yo, what's it like doing Big Boy in the morning for like so many years, bro? Like, I've interviewed everybody I grew up watching on TV, bro. I've hugged Mike Tyson. I've smoked with Wiz Khalifa's mom. I've hung out with Burner multiple times. Like, you know what I mean? I've hung out with Ice Cube. People that I just thought, I'm like, what the fuck is going on in my life, bro? Like, am I in a coma somewhere? Like, this is where all this shit's going on. I'm just like, the people who do the interviewing don't get interviewed as much.
Yeah.
And it's just like, listen, I know that the flavor of the month that you're having right now is bringing in the numbers, but the motherfucker can't hold the conversation to save his life.
It's true.
You know, like a lot of these artists out here, they can't, so what better person to have on whenever you're trying to be in the space and build than somebody who can hold the conversation? Because if you're in the podcast space, you got to know how to hold the conversation, bro.
Absolutely.
You got to know how to try to be entertaining, cater to these people, and know what to add. There can't be no dead space, bro.
Yeah. I was about to say, as a podcaster, you know how tough it is when you're trying to talk to someone and they're like, yep, I hung up. And then they just stop and you're like, damn, bro, that's all you got for me? Fuck. So
I want to say in the cannabis space, it's a little bit different, but because everybody claims they smoke. Everybody claims they fucking really smoke tough. And then you're like, damn, bro, like you put them in an environment where it's just like, hey, bro, like, you have to constantly do it. Like in my place, it gets smoky, bro. It gets smoky. It's 3 heads. We're all smoking hash. I got a fucking rig going. You know, we have a sponsor. Every time they see somebody's joint go off, they throw more weed on the table and it just keep going. And so it's nonstop. So you're gonna get a contact high or not. So I feel like I'm pretty functional when it comes to that. But a lot of people they don't really know how to function as a being fully high.
It's true. Yeah, no. I mean, I give you props. I can do it myself. But people tell me all the time, I don't know how the fuck you do it. I'm like, I don't know, bro. I just
You
smoke so much.
to it, consistency.
Yeah, I smoke all the time, and then when I get high, I talk to people.
Like
so
you told me you just did like 3 other ones today. I was just like, yeah, bro. I was like, you take what you do very seriously, and then you're smoking, But obviously, you're like, hey, I'm gonna pace myself. You got some food and this and that. Yeah,
yeah. I got long days, bro. You know how it goes. So it's
Yeah.
like by the end of the day, you got to make sure that you still got your mental.
Yeah.
And this shit will drive you nuts if you let it.
Yeah, like I said, that's one of the things that comes along with being in this space or being an entrepreneur, bro. You gotta, everything becomes work if you let that shit consume your life, man. You gotta know how to when to take a break.
Literally,
you're your own boss, bro. And when you're your own boss, I speak being a product of immigrant parents. I saw my parents consistently work all the fucking time, so it's inscribed in my head that there's no time for it's not that there's no time for fun shit. It's just every time I find myself not doing shit, I find work to do. And because I'm a part of a generation that is setting the bar differently, you have to fucking inscribe it into yourself to be like, hey, bro, your parents crossed the border so you can give yourself luxuries of taking a day off or two and actually enjoying it.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to hold that power to just do it. If you take it serious, bro, you know what I mean? Like if you take it from a business point of view, because I know a lot of people is like, hey, man, I do this. Hey, man, I do that. But I'm just like, hey, man, like, I don't ever see you doing shit for your brand, bro.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's like, don't tell me you're a fucking artist and then I got to beg you to make a song. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is that? Don't tell me you're a podcast and I got to beg you to do an interview. It's like, damn, come on, guy. I thought you do this shit. Like, but nah, it's definitely cool to see, like I said, someone else that takes it serious. But how do you keep yourself from burning out, man?
I want to say, like, I've always been a runner, bro. Like, even though at my heaviest, bro, I always thought I was like the treadmill has always been the place where I leave my stress, bro.
Okay.
But as of the last 6 months, bro, I really took up like a workout plan and been dieting and doing things properly, bro. So I want to say the working out is the best thing that you could do for yourself that's free.
Yeah.
Just find a way to make yourself sweat, bro. So I feel like that helps me stay strong and quote unquote, the healthiest I can be as you're an aging male. And I don't do the mushrooms, not anymore. So I'm not gonna give you some cliche answer, but like take mushrooms whenever you can. Like, no, fool, I take a vacation every year. I fucking work my ass off every year. Me and my girlfriend go to Japan. We've been going there for the last 3 years. So every February I head on over there, and that's like my little thing where I've been like, I just disconnect for a good 2 weeks.
That's dope. So that's your recharge.
Yeah, Japan is one of my favorite places in the world.
Shit, shout out to Japan. How's Japan?
It's epic, bro. I'm getting happy thinking about it.
Yeah,
Speaking about it, I was like,
I see the smile on your face.
in my stomach and shit. Yeah, bro, it's a great place. So it's like I feel like that's how I stay on my shit. Working out, obviously smoking good weed.
Yeah.
And keeping my imagination alive, bro. Doing shit that not letting other people's judgment of all this stuff or any of this thing really kind of get to me.
Yeah, it's true.
Wearing t-shirts with funny shit on there, bro. Liking trendy shit. It matters how many people be like, why are you liking that? How corny is that? It doesn't fucking matter, bro. Just doing what makes me happy.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of it for me is just staying busy, bro.
Yeah.
If I could stay busy, even if it's an off day, do something productive, that keeps me going.
If this is a labor of love to you, you're always gonna feel happy doing some work in it, but you can get burned out. Like I said, at some point it does become very frustrating when you're just like, fuck, man, I just need to take a break. And when you feel like that, give yourself a break. That doesn't mean go do drugs or go do that. Like, just go do something that makes you feel cool.
Yeah.
You want to go lay on the beach? That's your Japan? Cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you want to go, you want to go ahead and go to Disneyland? That's how you feel. Like, that's cool, bro. Like, don't let none of that shit fuck with, you taking some time for yourself, because I feel like in this space or in the entrepreneur space, you could lose yourself very easily, bro. You get consumed by work.
It's true.
There's a reason they people get off at 5 o'clock, bro, because if you kept working them from 9 to like fucking 9, bro, that's all they're going to know.
Yeah. Well, people used to die, bro.
Yeah,
that's why they had to make these fucking rules, because it's like the working to the bone used to be a real thing. That's not just a saying, bro. These motherfuckers used to work till they would pass out.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know if you knew this, but like when they used to build skyscrapers and shit,
Fools used to fall all the time.
it was calculated before they'd even start building it. All right, this is how many people are going to die each day or some shit. It's like, how the fuck was that a thought process? That's crazy.
What's that one picture of those guys eating on
the beam? Yeah, that was in New York City. Hell yeah.
Like that picture to me is always mind-boggling. And then I'm like, The
Bro.
balls on the photographer that took a heavy ass camera up there to fucking take this.
The balls on the guys to be fucking chowing down lunch down there like it's normal.
Yeah.
If you ever go back to New York, bro, they got this set up in Astoria. You could see it's like a memorial of it where they have just like an iron piece of the guy sitting on the fucking piece of iron. Yeah, so it's cool. It's cool shit. I think now actually there's an experience at a building there where you can go sit on the iron.
Oh, fuck that.
And they fucking rise you up. Yeah.
I'll just give her props. I'll be like, listen, men used to do some manly ass shit before, dog.
Bro.
Like, you think you could make it out in D-Day, bro? Like, when you see the way, like, I playing the video games and like I get it. I know it's not the same shit, but like, we're like, hold on, you just dropped me off in the boat. Fools are shooting at me, and I'm getting off this shit. I'm like, bro, like, we wouldn't survive, bro.
No shot, bro. We have it too good nowadays.
But there was motherfuckers that were with the shit, bro. Like, you ever seen them old white grandpas? It was like, I walked out of there, I killed 50 men.
And they're still with the shit to this day.
Yeah, they're still with the shit. Yeah.
That's the crazy part. But man, it's always good. Like I said, talking to a fellow podcaster. Is there anything else you want to get off your chest right now while you have the platform of being on someone else's podcast?
Hey man, you brought up a great point, man. Start fucking with the people who do the interviews, man, who interview your favorite people. We got the best stories, bro. We get to see your favorite artists and all that stuff on and off the cameras. We hold the conversation, bro. If you're an entrepreneur, stay consistent on your shit. It's very discouraging, bro. It's very discouraging. And this
shit ain't easy.
It takes, you're going to see 5 years before you see something come out of the dirt. That's a very true saying, bro. The bigger the goal it is, bro, the more you're going to spend time getting up every day. And you're like, did something come out?
Yeah.
Did something come out?
Yeah.
And like, that's just the way it is. You know why? Because if it was that easy, everybody would be fucking successful at it, bro. But whether you believe in God or life, whatever it is, or the universe, is just like, you're not just gonna get this shit easy, bro. Like, I've been in this space for 10 years, and the success I pictured or what I strive for was completely different than the success that I've had.
It's always that way.
And I'm always gonna strive for the one that I always wanted, but I'm also not unhappy with what I have, because I've had time to smell the flowers and see how fortunate it is. I'm working. People think B-Real is my dad, bro.
That's crazy.
Like, bro, I've been working with this fool for years, bro. That their security at the BMO Stadium and other people that they come into the house. Your dad, they let me in on the field. Like, yeah, dad? Bro. Like, and he doesn't deny it, because that's how it's like a family thing, bro. It's kind of crazy at this point. And to me, I'm like, I wouldn't trade it, bro. Like, I'm very fortunate, bro. Get to work with a legend who's friends with more legends, and I get to soak up game with all these people. I just feel like I'm soaking up enough game for it, the point where it's like, all right, bro, when the ball's on my court fully and it's my moment to dunk, I got this shit,
When you're surrounded by greatness, bro, it's cool to see that you could touch it,
Yeah. That's what it is, bro.
Yeah.
Like, every time you see it come around, you're like, yeah, bro. Like,
you could do it. Anybody could do it. That's why I love this shit, because people always say, oh, why do you make music? Why are you a podcaster? Honestly, I just do this shit because I enjoy it.
It's easy to become a hater in this space, bro, because a lot of people are unhappy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that are just be like, I'm like, bro, why you have that much energy to hate, but why don't you buy some new mics?
Yeah.
Why don't you fucking buy a new studio? Why don't you get a new fucking space? Like, obviously you just told me you just moved in here.
Yeah.
You just fucking do this shit, but there's other people that would be like, man, I'm going to hate on these fools because they just like, bro, this is why you never go nowhere.
That's it.
But fools are just unhappy, bro, and you got to respect the next man who is out here doing their shit.
That's it. And that's why. And the one thing is too, bro, like, I tried to do it alone, and it was hard. Yep. So once I had a solid team around me is when things started to click, because you can't do this shit alone, bro.
People got to see the same picture. Everybody can't see a different. Like, if we're working on the same puzzle, bro, like, we all got to be looking at the same picture for reference. You can't be looking over here and over there like, yeah, bro. Exactly. And that's a part of the game too, bro. It's not going to all fall in place.
No. And like you said, though, it's never going to look how you thought it was. So just take it for what it is, be adaptable, and just, know where you stand at all times. And that's it. Just always grow.
Remember the picture McDonald's barely came out? It was like 5-6 fools in the crew. Bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's just like Ronald and Grimace these days.
That's it.
Holding it down.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. And that's a unfortunate thing of life, but as you grow.
But that's not what they pictured in the beginning, though.
That's
you know
not,
what I'm saying?
bro.
Yeah.
So you always got to be adaptable, man.
Yeah.
Well, shit, I think this was a very informative a podcast from two podcasters. Where can the people find you?
You can follow my shadow band page at Flavors by Ezone with 2 S's. That's just Flavors by Ezone. My food podcast page is High and Hungry TV on Instagram, and the episodes you can find those on the YouTube the youtube.com/BeRealTV. So on the YouTube channel, Dr. Greenthumb Show is on BeReal.tv or YouTube. That is, you can catch me on there Wednesdays and Thursdays 2 to 4.
Okay.
Yeah, and for all my website store and all the merch, you go to flavorsbyezone.com or highandhungry.shop. It's the same website. And for all the people that know about Whatnot, you can just follow it, Flavors by Ezone on there.
Shit, speaking of Whatnot, you brought that up earlier. That's an interesting topic. How does that work?
I've always been like, I'm one of these fools, dog. I love going to like to a swap meet, dog.
Okay.
Like I love finding something I can flip. I love the thrill of just reselling some shit, bro.
Okay.
And I also love finding shit that I had in my childhood, bro. You know, I'm just like, that. This is fucking sick.
If only we knew that shit would have been worth something.
Yeah, like
you know
I'm a collector, bro. So like of different shit, and I'm also a reseller. So Whatnot goes hand in hand. So one of my biggest things that I'm into as a '90s kid is Pokemon. So
yep, I
sell a lot of cards on there. I make pretty good money off that.
And do you do the thing where you like open packs on there and shit? Okay.
Yeah,
do you make God packs?
Yeah, people like seeing me have a heart attack when they see me give away like I'll be nice sometimes, right? Like they'll spend like 3 packs and they'll get nothing, right?
Okay.
I'm like, here, let me give you a free pack, bro, just off GP, and they get the kill.
That's hard.
And I have to give, and I'm like, I gave you this pack, and I just gave you $100 card, and then I just lose it. But it's very entertaining, bro. And I think certain things like that just help me keep I don't know, my happiness, bro. People would be like, what are you doing? Like fucking opening cards, like, you're 35, fool. And I'd be like, yeah, fool, but you know, I gotta file for my taxes off of what I make, all this shit. Yeah. So I was just like, I don't know, how much do you file off that anger from me seeing me rip cards?
What's the
like, you know,
what's the most valuable card you have in your collection?
I got a mean collection, bro.
Okay.
I got a super mean collection.
Okay.
You know that Charizard that's like that Jake Paul Charizard?
PSA 10?
Yeah, I don't have them graded, but I have a sheet full of like 15 of them.
Jeez.
That I've just acquired over time.
Fucking A. God bless, brother. God bless. I don't know much about it, but it's super intriguing, you know? I just know that it's another thing that if I get into it, bro, I'm probably going to have to learn everything about it, and I'm not ready for it yet.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay, you got the second or third generation of Pokemon. So your starters were different.
Definitely.
Yeah.
They definitely were. But I remember, bro, we used to have those in droves. I had fucking baseball cards by the packs, like fucking Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Card collecting, like sports collecting, is very big. And it feels like it's like a big East Coast thing. That's where it originated from, man.
Yeah.
Like the Mickey Mantle cards and all this, all these crazy, bro, like Babe Ruth and all this.
The thing was, I was a kid, and I would bring it with me wherever I went, and fucking I brought it somewhere, like I guess to my dad's house or some shit. And then that was it. I never saw it again, and I had a sour taste. I'm like, fuck that. It took me so long to collect all that shit, and it's just gone. Like, I'm not doing this shit no more.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where it's like, it's hard to be a collector as a kid because you want to show off, man.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Proud of it.
That's why a lot of the collectibles for kids these days are like physical. It's not cards anymore because you just fuck them up, you know, unless the kid knows the value of them. A lot of the collectibles are figures and stuff that they could play with and loses its value.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Kids don't get it, but shit, as we're adults now.
It's a new generation though, man. Some of these kids are starting to get it, bro. I'll be seeing these like young ass kids at the swap meet reselling, and I'm just like, man, I wish I had that hustler mentality when I was young.
Well, we didn't see it. They're seeing that shit.
Well, they got the internet, bro. They got Mr. Beast letting them know, like, hey, man, you know, I'm selling.
I was still a hustler as a kid, though. Don't get me wrong, bro. In New York, if it snowed, bro, that was green. I saw green. I'll go out. I would shovel.
No, that's that. I feel like that's what you have to have, bro. The initiative. You're like, hey, bro, how are you making money? What's up? You know,
literally, yeah. Fucking, I would impress kids because I had my shit on, bro. I knew if it was snowing, bro. All right, Brett, let me call the crew. I already know what houses and blocks we're gonna hit.
Yeah.
So anyone that was like new to that shit, they would come on. They're like, damn, this kid's a businessman. He's like fucking 13 years old. I'm like, hell yeah, bro. You do that corner, you do that corner. We could get it done faster. We make more money. Like, let's go do this.
And then you was doing cool shit as a kid, bro. You're like, hey, bro, all me and all my homies went to Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah.
Without our parents.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Different life for sure out here, but it's a blessing to have come out here and because in this space, bro, this would not have happened in New York. I tried, you know, like it's tough.
Like doing the
podcasting, bro. Yeah, like trying to get someone on the podcast out there was like pulling teeth, bro.
Really?
Just because like when I first started too, most of my friends are just 9-to-5ers, so it's like, oh, you want to come tell a crazy story that we know we both have? Like, nah, not really. I have a job. I'm I'm like, fuck your job, bro. Come tell a story.
Yeah, it is. I can see that, bro.
Yeah.
I remember in the beginning, I tried to have a lot of my friends that I grew up with, and they weren't so comfortable with coming on because they didn't understand it at first. And then when they started to understand it, I'm just like, hey, man, like it's not interesting no more. We can't, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, I got people booked now, dog.
Yeah.
I was like, you kind of had a shot at the beginning. Dog. I don't know what to tell you, man.
It's true. But hey, you know,
you gotta be in the right circle, bro. That's what it is, bro. Sometimes it's just like you gotta like, man. Sometimes the biggest fucking thing you gotta admit to yourself is that it's time to cut ties with some people because it's not that they're detrimental to your health; they're detrimental to your business. They can still be good friends.
Yeah.
Whenever you have time to fuck off. But not everybody's there to water your garden. Some people are just there. They're like, damn, you got a nice apple tree here. Can I take some? But they didn't forget to throw some water on the tree, bro.
Of course.
Yeah, bro. So it's these. You have to surround yourself with those people that's just like, what vision do you have? What do you have? Oh shit, we all got 5 visions here. Cool. This is what I'm doing. Can you help me with this? Cool. Let me go ahead and do this. And that's how you end up working with so many people in the space. That's how I'm working with. You know what I'm saying? With my boy back there. That's how I'm working with.
Shout out to Munchies, by the way.
You know what I'm saying?
For facilitating this.
Shout out to Munchies. You know what I mean?
Sir.
And, you know, shout out to Brine Fest. Shout out to all these events that just. I'm noticing that there's a lot of people that are just like, hey man, we're just better in numbers, bro. And I like seeing that, bro, because it gets everybody involved.
Bro, there's literally room for everyone. As crazy as it sounds, we could all eat.
People are not done fucking, bro. There's gonna be new people born every day that want to spend money when they get to the right time.
It's very true, very true. Well, I'm glad we were able to sit down today. Like I said, shout out to Munchies for making it happen, and shout out to our sponsors today. You know, shout out to Meech's Express, and shout out to the Trap Box. Today, I think this was a great episode. I think the people needed this. You know.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on, man. It's shout out to everybody who's watching, everybody who enjoyed this episode. And everybody who watches at Be Real TV and all the stuff that I do.
Yes, sir. Shout out to you, bro. Keep killing it. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope I can come on your platform soon.
Yeah, I invited you.
We can share some shit. Yeah. But hey, that's all we got for today. But go subscribe, like, turn on your alerts. Tell your mother, your brother, your sister, your cousin. I don't know. Tell everybody. We have stories for everyone, even if you're not a stoner and you don't smoke. So come tune in. But that's it for today. We'll see you next time.
I just had the bluest dream that you've ever seen, and I can't believe that shit was green, cause it hit so clean, and my history is a mystery. I don't give a fuck, I just hit the tree on the 5th degree. We don't pit for free. If you don't got 5 shit, get up and leave.